Hi there, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us here on KXAN Live. I'm Will DuPree, coming to you from the KXAN Live studio. We wanted to jump on here today to tell you about this really cool story that was published over on our website, and we'll show you the headline right here. The story is, a 17-year-old invents a robot twice as powerful as a firefighter. That is so much to unpack there, and it sounds so cool. Fortunately, we have the reporter who did this, and she just so happens to be one of our newsroom interns. So please welcome to the KXAN Live studio, Athulya Rajakumar. She is a journalism student at the University of Texas at Austin and a senior. Athulya, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Will. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to talk about this story because as soon as it was published, the details of it are so much fun. It's really cool. So if you can, just tell us how you came to find this story and report on it.
Yeah, so I initially saw Siddharth and the Firebot when the Cockrell School of Engineering actually posted an Instagram post telling everyone that one of their engineering students has not only entered this collegiate inventors competition, which is essentially a nationwide competition to promote collegiate level research innovation, but he had become one of the 6 finalists in the undergraduate category. And it was just publicizing his work, encouraging people to vote for him. Those votes actually ended up having him win the People's Choice Award, which awarded him $2,000, which he plans to use to further develop the robot with higher grade materials and expand his team with more collaborators. But yeah, I essentially saw that post, DM'd him, and I was like, hey, your story is super cool. I'd love to know more. And he was so open and receptive, and you could tell that he was so passionate about this project. So yeah, we just took it from there.
Let's give people an idea of what this looks like and introduce people to Siddharth as well. So if you take a look right here, the robot we're talking about is called the Firebot. And Siddharth is only 17 years old. Athulya, that is pretty incredible, the fact that he is so young doing this. And tell us about the robot that you see right there next to him.
Yeah, so the idea for the robot was essentially inspired by the death of a local firefighter that Siddharth heard about actually a few years ago. So he's 17 now, but he actually started work on this project when he was even younger. And he as somebody obviously very intelligent, has a passion for building things, he says that Firebot is his most impactful and complex robot. But, you know, he started out building remote-controlled cars out of Legos as a child. So he hears about this death. He reaches out to local fire departments and firefighters to learn about their jobs and their day-to-day responsibilities. And once hearing about their feedback and the dangers they face on an everyday basis, he decided to use his technical expertise to create a solution for them. Which leads us into, what does this robot do and why is it impactful right now?
Yeah, the job of a firefighter is very dangerous, understandably. As we all know, they are heroes to all of us here in the community, what they do and they're called upon to do. So how does Siddharth envision this robot helping them on their day-to-day jobs?
Yeah, so after his discussion with firefighters across the country, he realized that there are 2 main dangers that happen when firefighters are entering these buildings blind. Number 1 is obviously when they are locating both conscious and unconscious victims while the structure is actively on fire and at risk for collapsing at any moment. Second is smoke inhalation. So the way that the Firebot helps both of these is, so the novelty of the Firebot compared to all the other tech in the market right now, let's talk about that first, is the fact that it is temperature resistant. Currently, fire departments use robotic fire hoses that, you know, carry these heavy hoses, stand outside of the building, and points and sprays. Second, they are utilizing drones, which can fly over fires and basically give a sort of assessment of damages from outside the building. There is yet to be any technology that can actually enter the building, which is where the firefighters' jobs are most dangerous. So that is why this robot is so new, innovative, as well as necessary. So first, when they're looking for victims, both conscious and unconscious, Firebot can go inside, climb obstacles, locate these victims, and if the victim is unconscious, which they are 60% of the time due to smoke inhalation, uses a siren and a GPS location to alert firefighters to exactly where that victim is. So they are not searching around for long. They can identify the most safest point of entry and exit and get this victim out as soon as possible. So if the victim is conscious, the Firebot is equipped with a 2-way speaker, which the firefighter from outside, who is controlling this robot using the console from safely outside, can tell the conscious victim, here's your point of exit, please do so. If the situation seems too dangerous for the victim to move, the firebot will also let them stay put. Help is coming to you on the way, sort of calming the victim from like further making their situation more dangerous. And second is based on like the toxic gases, the robot is equipped with sensors, which can go inside the building first and see which toxic gases are present, and then let the firefighters know so that they can enter the building with protective equipment and whatever they need to stay safe. So it's essentially an intelligence gathering robot that can be sent into a building before we send humans inside to help them do their jobs much better. And this will also free up personnel, so they can actually focus on reducing the fire rather than being able to locate these victims if there is, technology already taking care of that.
Wow, I mean, the way you explained it, it seems like it has so many purposes, and maybe it would excite firefighters that something like this would be out there. Because of the innovation that Siddharth kind of put forward in creating this robot, he won an award, as you mentioned a little bit earlier. Tell us again about that.
Yeah, so absolutely. So he was one of 6 finalists in the undergraduate category, and he didn't end up winning the whole competition, but he did win this People's Choice Award, which honestly to him felt more meaningful because this is people who are hearing about his invention and casting a vote towards it, believing that this innovation is going to be helpful for them and their community and the firefighters of that community,
Yeah.
And so he's excited that there is such a positive response among the public already, and he has been working with local fire departments in employing a newest version. By early 2020, he plans to have a newest version to be able to work with fire departments. As soon as they do that, I know that he's planning to actually test it in the Austin Fire Department's cadet program under real-life simulations. And once they do that, once they start gathering more data, it's only going to continue to get better. These are already basic features that have been established. So the more research, the more actual real-life experimentation and training is going to only make this robot better. And he actually hopes that there are going to be more uses for it than just the fire department, warehouses, chemical warehouses, basically any situation where you're sort of sending in a human worker blind, where they could be possibly exposed to danger, sending in a robot first, having it assess the environment before doing so, he really hopes that it could come handy in like multiple situations.
That is so fascinating, and really what underscores this is that it provides a safety, a guide for people to come into a building if it's on fire. And why that's so important is because that is a particularly dangerous portion of the job for a firefighter. Your story on our website right now breaks down kind of some of the fatalities, the causes of death for firefighters, and showed the increase of them. Can you tell us about these numbers right here and explain where the robot might benefit people on the job as a firefighter?
Yeah, so these numbers are pulled from the National Fire Protection Association, which essentially releases a report at the end of each year. They go over the deaths of firefighters. They identify how many happened on duty, off duty, to what causes. And so the numbers you see here are for 2019 and 2020. Obviously, 2020, we will take into account the number of firefighters we lost, unfortunately, due to the pandemic. But otherwise, you're still able to see how many firefighters that are dying in structure fires, entering these buildings blind and due to those dangers. And so that is exactly where this robot is going to come into play. When a firefighter approaches the situation, they can remove the robot off the truck, use a console safely from outside the building to navigate the robot into these buildings, get a full sort of rundown of what it's looking like on the inside. How many victims do they have? Are they unconscious? Are they conscious? Where are they located? How many floors is this structure? And with the firebot being able to like navigate through this building, you can also see what portions of the building can be navigated and what portions of the building cannot,
Yeah.
And as well as especially that smoke inhalation aspect, especially if some of those things are really toxic. That's where a lot of these firefighters are also dying. So both of these things, that they have a better idea before they enter the building, it's not only going to increase their chance of survival, but the victim's chance of survival. Because while these firefighters are struggling to look inside, these victims are also losing their chance of survivability, the more they're laying there unconscious, inhaling the smoke. So hopefully this is a piece of technology that's going to help everyone all around, and it's something that can be continuously developed, and versions of it can come out that can be used in multiple situations.
Sure. technology for good. We all could use more of that for sure. Well, Athulya Rajakumar, I just want to thank you again for coming into the studio here and talking about this really interesting story. Again, if you all would like to read it out there, it is available right now on our website, KXAN.com. You can also access it on the KXAN News mobile app, so download that on your smartphone if you haven't done so already. Athulya, I know that you have been a newsroom intern for us for a few months now. I'm curious kind of to step back and be a little personal for a moment, what your plans are for the future since your time is wrapping up at UT.
I know, I cannot believe that this is wrapping up, both at UT and at KXAN.
Yeah.
It's bittersweet, but I'm currently recruiting and currently looking for jobs. I am a journalism major, so I definitely want to work in this field, either producing or reporting more on cool stories like this.
Yeah, I know. I would imagine this kind of ignites that reporting spark in you too, because
Definitely.
it was so well done. And again, if you all would like to read that story, it is on our website at the moment, KXAN.com. You can read it at this very time. So Athulya, thank you again for joining me. I appreciate it, and we hope to have you back maybe sometime soon.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, everybody. That, again, is Athulya Rajakumar. She is one of our newsroom interns. That story is available right now on KXAN.com. You can also watch this really cool video that Athulya put together on there, talking to the inventor of it, showing off the robot and how it does things. It's really, really interesting. It's on our website right now, so we thank you again. Also, to plug, today is Election Day. Polls are open till 7 o'clock this evening, so if you have not voted, go and do that. We have information about what's on the ballot on our website right now, too, so check it out. Thanks again for watching, everybody. I'm Will DuPree in the KXAN Live studio. We'll see you back here another time. Please, everybody, stay safe and healthy out there. Take care.